Good evening, this is CTV News. I'm Byron Scott.
And I'm Danielle Irby. Animal rights groups rallied to bring awareness to a popular dog breed that is illegal in Prince George's. Pit bulls are currently banned in the county. However, cross over into the district and the restriction doesn't exist. That's where we find CTV's Katara Jones with more on this developing story.
Well, if you can hear them behind me, they are chanting "End the ban." Now they are calling for a change in a Prince George's County law that prohibits pit bulls from residing in the county. Baltimore native Brian Welch, along with his pit bull Gus, came out to show support.
No breed is inherently aggressive. With all dogs, a lot like with people, they respond in kind to how you treat them. So if you treat a dog with love and respect, then they'll respond, as Gus does, with love and respect.
Supporters say that all dogs deserve a home, regardless if it's a pit bull or not.
We have people calling us every day from the county who are afraid their family members are going to be taken from them, euthanized, who need services but don't dare reach out for support because they're trying to stay under the radar. And that's a broken system. And we want it to stop. We've seen what progressive, enlightened policies can do in the nation's capital, and we want to lend our support to our brethren in Prince George's County.
Officials say the county council is currently making revisions to CB 46, but the ban will remain intact. Some say the ban is simply unreasonable.
I have two pit bulls, Ace and Zoe. One is 6 years old, one is 1 year old, and they're my children pretty much. So I couldn't imagine someone taking them from me because of their appearance. Because again, it has nothing to do with what Ace and Zoe did. It's because of what in the past a dog or two has done.
Organizers say they will not stop until change is made. Reporting in the district, Katara Jones, CTV News.
The council wants to also make revisions to CB 46, which would make chaining dogs outside of a home illegal.
And new laws take effect today aimed at helping rape victims. One calls for the testing of more than 6,000 rape kits in the state's backlog. The measure establishes a 5-year, $3.5 million fund to go through those kits.
Now, this is in combination with federal funding that we already have to test the 6,000 kits that are untested right now in Maryland. The new money is state money. It's both looking back to the backlog and looking forward to kits in the future. I think the disconcerting thing is we don't know if the governor is going to release this money and implement this program. But it's vital not only for the survivors who went through the invasive test that's involved in a rape kit, but also so we get sex offenders off the street.
The other law that goes into effect today would provide rape victims with preventative HIV treatment funded by the state. And the state wants to go a step farther in taking away the temptation of e-cigarettes and other vaping products for teens. Maryland already joins the district and 14 other states to restrict anyone under 21 from buying nicotine. As we told you yesterday, Delegate Derek Davis plans to introduce legislation to completely ban flavored vaping products. He spoke with us today in our studio.
Whether it's e-cigarettes or regular cigarettes like menthol, that's popular among African Americans. The research has shown that Newports, that's the brand of choice for many African Americans. For the youth between the ages of 12 and 17, I think it's like 69% that recognize Newports, and that's sort of the brand of choice. So we've got a lot of work to do, but it's time to get started.
And Davis plans to introduce his legislation in January of 2020.
Well, guilty was the verdict today in the case against a fired Dallas police officer who killed her neighbor after she claimed that she walked into his apartment thinking it was her own. The death of 26-year-old Botham Jean touched off days of protest in Dallas in September 2018 when former Dallas police officer Amber Geiger shot and killed Jean in his Dallas apartment. County resident and former college classmate Alicia Harris said Jean had a promising future and was a remarkable student on campus.
He was almost uniquely inspiring. His story of how he came from St. Lucia and came to America and started studying, it was almost a type of inspiration that made other people want to become better and study harder. And it wasn't him trying to be like, hey, you should do this. It was just him, his personality. Had a very radiant personality. And so that's kind of the legacy he left behind. First off, very thankful that justice was served. I felt that the right thing was done given the circumstance, but at the same time I know it's not going to bring him back. It's not going to erase the pain that his family and his friends have felt and will feel forever.
Jean's family and attorney praised today's verdict when it was read in the courtroom. Many saw the high-profile 7-day trial as another egregious example of a white police officer killing an unarmed black man.